Hi, I'm Stu Mitchell, and welcome to Watershed Talks. Today, I'm going to talk about zombies. That's right, the undead, the living dead, called many different things. It seems to me like there's a huge following of zombies, zombie movies, zombie shows. The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. But, you know, in my thumbnail, I kind of put a picture of the original Night of the Living Dead from George Romero, which really kind of started this whole pop culture zombie phenomenon, if you will. And, you know, it's interesting to me that zombies would be so popular and be something that people would be interested in. But, you know, it is interesting, and I've watched some of it. I'm more into some books that we would call post-apocalyptic survival fiction. And, you know, that could be zombies, that could be EMPs, CMEs, anything that would take out the grid and cause kind of a situation where human survival comes into play. And I find that really interesting. And I think sometimes people like the stories because of the zombie aspect of it, but really because of the human element to it, right? You have a band of survivors that get together. They come up with all these clever ways to continue to survive. You know, a lot of times the heroes in these movies, well, they kill zombies. That's what they do. They find clever ways of killing zombies, staying alive, hiding out, repelling zombies, whatever the case is. And some of these movies, you also have some very smart, whether it's an epidemiologist or a chemist, and they come up with this great idea for a cure. Maybe one of their loved ones, a wife, a child is infected, and they're just so desperate to come up with a cure. And, you know, there's always a group of other folks that are bad actors, right? They're not zombies, they're just bad people, and they're trying to take advantage of the situation. So they're doing their pillaging and stealing and all sorts of brutalizing. So it's a very interesting genre and concept. I get why it's popular. Again, I'm not condoning you go out and start watching a whole bunch of zombie or post-apocalyptic movies or read the books, but I understand it. So, you know, as usual, as I start thinking about these things, I have, you know, an ulterior motive of why I bring them up, even though it does interest me. And it's because I think a lot of times, you know, if you use that third eye to kind of look at the world through different lenses, sometimes the things that we like, the things that influence us, whether it's pop culture or whatever, we can kind of use that to draw analogies to what we see going on in the world. So, you know, let's picture for a moment that, you know, that we have a zombie plague in our world right now. That, you know, there are people out there that are kind of just, you know, mulling along, doing their thing. You know, the interesting part is that it's generally not the fault of the zombie. I know that sounds ridiculous. I can't believe I'm even saying it. But it's usually some evil force, right, that's causing the zombies to do what they're doing. Some evil force or some, you know, government experiment gone awry that caused everybody to become zombies. Maybe it's a plague. Who knows? But it's usually the zombie is just, you know, being controlled by this evil force. So when I think about it, I think about, you know, people that are, you know, being controlled by a lot of things out there in our world right now that are kind of just, you know, pushing along, getting pushed along by whatever that evil force is. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking right now, oh yeah, I know what that evil force is. It's the government. Oh, it's the Republicans. It's the Democrats. It's whatever the case is. It's people that believe in vaccination. It's people that don't believe in vaccinations. The problem with that is that when we do that, we're turning our anger the wrong direction. right? We're taking our anger out on people and groups of people, as opposed to, as a Christian, I truly believe that the evil force behind all bad things is the devil. And, I think we get so wrapped up in kind of the flavor of the day and what's going on, and, it's against what we believe in, and we take our anger out on people, just like in the zombie movies, right? They obviously, for survival, but they take their anger out. They're so mad. They say all these nasty things about the zombies, and high-powered weapon of their choice, and, kill the zombies, whatever. But think about us. We don't have to be that way, right? We don't have to take our anger out on people when they don't agree with us. We should be like the epidemiologist that's coming up with the cure. We already have the cure, right? The cure, I truly believe, as a Christian, the cure for everything that ails us is Jesus. Now, there's things you have to do, and there's things that He commands us, and I think this is sometimes we get things mixed up a little bit. I know, in the past I have, where, a lot of people like to go right to, righteous anger about these bad things going on. And, Jesus went into the temple and He overturned the money changers' tables, and He drove them out of the temple. And that's true. That's an account of Jesus's life here on earth and something He did. That's an account of Jesus, the Son of God, without spot or wrinkle, that came to die for our sins, something He did. The commandment, and it came from Jesus when a lawyer tried to trip Him up and asked Him, what's the greatest commandment? It's, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your strength. This is the greatest commandment. And the second's like the first, and it's to love your neighbor as yourself. And that means everyone. That doesn't mean you can single out a group of people that you're going to hate and just say, hey, I'm going to take my anger out on them. Because they're not the ones that we are really fighting against, right? I mean, the fight is for people, not with people. And I truly believe as a Christian that we need to start looking at things with a little bit different perspective. We need to look at it as, hey, we know where bad things come from, right? It's not from any group of people, even though they may be being influenced by whatever, but it's really against the devil. And as Christians, we should be fighting to get people that cure, even though the cure is harder to get to someone than just, like in the zombie movies, it's a lot easier to just shoot one of the zombies or whack them with a weapon of your choice. That's quick, that's easy. To get the cure, there's work. You got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You got to test it. Then you got to go out there and find a way to get it to one of these people without getting yourself killed, right? So, but, the more people that work on the cure, that get the cure, and then figure out ways to mass produce the cure. And then, in some of these movies, then, well, can they make the cure airborne? Can they put it in a crop duster and go over and all of a sudden save a whole bunch of people? I don't know, but that's, there's an exponential multiplication when you're a Christian of winning other Christians, because then you have more people that are out there trying to do the right thing and to win more people. So I think, I've been very focused in the first 4 talks that I've had here on people, and it's on keeping our eyes on, on God's commandments and not getting so wrapped up in what's going on in the world. Listen, there's a lot of things going on in the world. I'm not immune to it. It makes me nervous. It hurts me. It scares me at times. But, I know that I have the confidence that if I do the right thing, that if I trust in God for my strength, for my peace, for my happiness, that I can have that. I can have that in the midst of what's going on. And you can too. So I would encourage everyone today to keep your eyes on God. Keep your eyes on the greatest commandment, which is love. It's to love your Lord your God. It's to love your neighbors. And the reason why that's so important, he said, is because all the other ones are kind of based off of that. Once you have that in, then everything else works. Without that, nothing else works. So I would encourage you today to love your neighbors. Love them as yourself. Love them like you love your own family. Look at them through the eyes of Jesus as opposed to looking at them through all the things that you disagree with them about. If we continue to do that, we're going to continue to have anger, pain, fear in our lives, all the things that make it just feel terrible, right? Why not do it a different way? Why not just kind of give that stuff up and say, listen, I'm going to trust in God. I'm going to follow his commandments. I promise you, you won't be sorry. Thank you, and God bless.